Here's my hook, how I came up from the story from my Escape from Somalia. I love the film The Martian. I've probably seen it 8 times and I read the book twice. I was obsessed not just with the story, but with the hook. The hook is so strong. A man is stranded on Mars, he's alone. No one's coming. How does he survive? How does he get home? That's it. That's the kind of hook that grabs you by the collar and doesn't let go. So I asked myself, how do I come up with something like that? Someone stranded, Robinson Crusoe style, alone, in danger, no help, no way out. But I knew space was out. I don't know enough about science or planetary physics. So it had to be Earth, our world, today. And for almost 2 years, that question haunted me. Where could someone be stranded in the modern world and the danger would feel real? And then one day, lightning struck. I was on the beach with my daughter. We'd been in the water for an hour. Yeah, I was exhausted and I tagged in my wife and collapsed onto the towel. I checked my phone and saw a message from my brother. He had just left Istanbul, Turkey and was on a flight to the Maldives. Yes, my brother is annoyingly lucky, but that's another story. As a total airplane nerd, I pulled out my flight tracker app and yep, I'm that guy. And I noticed the plane was flying a weird route through the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. At the time, the Houthis were attacking ships out of Yemen, so I asked myself, why did the plane have to crash land? What would be the worst possible place for my brother to crash? And I zoomed out and then it hit me. Somalia. No functioning government, no police, no schools, no rescue infrastructure. A country torn apart by a war. Warlords, Al-Shabaab, and decades of outside interference. Not because Somalia is evil, but because of greed, corruption, and colonization. But that's a completely different story. Still, I kept thinking, what if my brother's plane crashed in Somalia? Who would rescue him? And then the question got bigger. What if Air Force One crash landed in Somalia? What if the President of the United States was stranded in the most lawless region on Earth? What if he had no backup? What if the Vice President didn't want him to survive? And that's how I got my hook. The President of the United States crash lands in Somalia. He's alone, no backup, warlords and Al-Shabaab are hunting him, and the Vice President may have planted the bomb. How does he make it home? Before the trader back in DC locks him out for good. That's my promise to the reader. If I do my job right, they'll chase that question through every chapter. If your hook isn't crystal clear, nothing else matters. No one cares how cool your character is, and no one cares how lush your world building is. Not if they don't know why they're supposed to care. So here's a job. As a writer, you need to get the hook. Everything else can wait. This is rule number 1 of Suspense Club. The next rule is about building the structure before you start writing, so your story doesn't collapse halfway through. Subscribe so you can follow the journey. I will have 10 rules posted here.